Hello to everyone and welcome to another Elliott Waves on Cryptos. It's finally Thursday, that time of the week then where we go back and revisit what really happened with our account, what happened in the markets in general, and also analyze the favorite coin of QIC community. Over 22,000 large over there at the moment, and growing. And of course, we cannot really ignore their desired analysis, and that for the vote has been Luna. As always, you well know that I am doing BTC as well. Okay, and this is what we're going to start with. There is definitely some interesting developments. I do know that a lot of you have been calling for an update, and I do have an update, and you probably can't wait to look exactly what that is and whether I'm still bearish or not, what Elliott Waves say. And I will tell you this, that Elliott Waves, guys, is not an analysis that is based on tweets, on Twitter, on whether someone is bullish or bearish, okay? It's subjective, I understand, but this is its power, okay? Because we receive new data, and according to the new data, we adjust the count. With that said, in the short term, we've had a change. In the medium term and in the long term, for now, and as long as data provide that validation, will remain, as I said, medium and long term, pretty much unchanged. A pattern has changed. We're going to have a quick look what that is. I'm going to talk about Luna. Where exactly is it in its own cycle, and what is the alternative as well? We'll look actually at both, and quite just gonna throw a bit of alternative on a bullish case on BTC. Although I have done this in the past, just for those who are bullish and want to know what we can expect going forward. So with that said, do not forget that this is for educational purposes. Okay, none of this is investment advice. You should always do your own research before you come to, well, investing or doing anything. And drop your questions in our YouTube section. I don't mind responding. And click that like button, subscribe, turn notifications on so you can wait for the next update, or you receive notification for the next update. Don't forget also that you can find me on Telegram, where I have my channel now, for those who are interested in several intraday videos on BTC and other altcoins, as well as some trading ideas. So let's go to the charts and take it step by step. Okay, so here we are with BTC, guys, starting off. Okay, a lot of you know that I was expecting this to be a 1-2 and 1 and 2, and we received the invalidation over here, right? And after that invalidation, we received another invalidation up here. Okay, and now what we currently see is prices have made a fresh high. Okay, multi-month, I would say, and either correcting or reversing. A lot of you might consider, why is this guy still bearish? Well, it's, what the market structure gives us, guys. Okay, as I said before, we don't go with what Twitter thinks, okay, because you know how that ends anyway. We go with the market data, and when you combine transaction, pattern structures, and volumes, you would come to my conclusion. You remember that was W, X, and Y. So with this leg to the downside being a 3 now, confirmed obviously, and this one also an ABC up here with a fresh high, that changes to a triple zigzag in wave B. Okay, you might ask again, why wave B? Well, and I will repeat, and I will keep repeating maybe in every video because new people coming in. This is a clear 5-wave structure. A 5-wave structure is followed by a 3-wave structure and by a 5-wave structure. Okay, 5, 3, 5. Now obviously here our 3, it's a 5-wave move, but it's corrective, so it's considered to be a 3. Okay, it's a simple zigzag with a combination in wave B. Okay, now let me just pull the Fibo here so that we have a bit of different, a bit of a contextual perspective here. We have done exactly the 79, 80%. Okay, and this is a level according to guidelines that wave B of a simple ABC zigzag can go to. It can go higher, but the guidelines say between 38 and 79. So the 80 or the 81 make no difference, especially in crypto thin liquidity. So this is exactly where we stopped. Now, as long as we are below that level, the guideline is respected, which means we can't stop moving lower down and receive the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move that wave C is going to potentially give us. Now, the moment we've broken the 80, or even touched it even so far, now another scenario comes into the game plan, but not as high probabilities. And again, I will say, because this is a 5-wave move. And what is this? Okay, this is a triangle. Okay, because we did the 80%. That would mean that we'll come down here, and down here would have to take this as the last wave and put it down here. So maybe it will just be some sort of descending channel. But first of all, we've never seen triangles in BTC cycles. Never. So is it going to be a first time? I do not know. But that's one thing to consider, reducing the probabilities. The other thing, considering reducing the probabilities, the fact that we have a 5-wave leg down here, not 3. The triangle start with 3. Now, could this be an A, and my wave B would end up being a triangle, which means we would do something like this, something like this, something like this, yeah, and then end up having something like that. And we did the 80%, so the A, the B, and the C, and the D, and the E. And the A, I mean, okay, let me just, because it looks like a kid's drawing. Hold on. A, B, and C. That's what we're looking, okay? So instead of having this on its own, okay? That would be a case where you would have to send us all the way down here, pretty much, and meet this trend line, okay? From where we are, or even from higher levels. We can literally go up to like 90% as well, or even, you know, all the way up to the top. The truth is that, guys, yes, I know these are big levels, 50, 60, you know, from 40 to 50, 10K and all that stuff. Yes, but this is what the structure is giving us, okay? So we cannot ignore the patterns here. That's one. So triangle, not high probabilities, but it's higher than before. W, X, and Y, Z here, then you might also ask for the alternative, which also has high probabilities now. Okay, and the alternative is that, as you will remember, that is an expanding flat. We ended down here in C, and that is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, which means that's going to be our wave 1, or it can go higher. You might get a wave 2 correction over here and then continue higher. That again sees a correction, okay, in either case, because wave 2 has to correct. Now, some say that this is 1, 2, this is 3, 4, this is 1, 2, this is 3, 4, and this is 5. And my 1 is here, and this is my 2. And we're going up for 3. Well, that also has higher probabilities from before if we compare it. But guys, for both of these scenarios, look at the volumes. You cannot ignore the volumes. It's impossible how master traders call for a bull case without taking into account the volumes. Wave 3 of an impulse, for example, this one, will have to have so many increased volumes here for this to be an impulse in wave 3. Even if that was a wave 1, still the wave 3 should have impressive volumes. We see nothing like that here. Okay, in this case we don't. In this case we do. Is this a 3? But what about the internal 3? Okay, we need to look at the markets, okay, contextually. Now, why is this an increase in volume here? Okay, because we see it, obviously, like a solo sort of day candle. This increase over here, guys, it's the perfect wave C, okay? And it is the perfect meeting the wall sort of resistance, right? Boom, stopping there and pushing and pushing and pushing. That's the 55.50 or whatever, okay? And now we start seeing prices declining after having done a fresh high. And that fresh high has a five wave move structure already, okay? And my wave 3, well, you know, it could be a case, okay? This is it, and might be that, okay? Because we see the increase, that might be a 3, okay? So this is the closest to my main, okay? And that is what I'm going to talk about right now. This is 1 and this is 2. This is 3. We're going to get a 4. And we're going to get the 5th one. The 5th one has to have high volumes, but not higher than the 3rd wave, okay? That will mean that's the 5th. That's the closest to my main, but it's a very short, like short to medium term variation from the main, okay? So do I see prices go up to 60? Right now, I don't. Do I see prices to going higher? Well, we have to jump to the 1 hour chart here to really see what's happening, okay? I want to tell you this. We don't see increase in volumes here, but obviously they are much better than what they were here, okay? Which means we are going down. Most of this move is on the downside, and we have much better volumes than what we had when we're up. This is good, okay, for various perspective. Now, over here, we've got wave 1 and wave 2, okay? Assuming we ended up here at 55. A very, very, very strong level, I repeat. Now, internally here, guys, we have a leading diagonal and a wave 2, okay? Already wave 2. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, okay? Let me go down on the 15. 1 second. We need to investigate a bit further here. Yeah, 1 and 2, and then you got, okay, there's 2 scenarios here in the shorter term. This is 1 and 2, yeah, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and we have an open leading diagonal in 1. So this is circle 1, circle 2, and that is 2, okay, and we're going to get 3, 4, and 5. And this 5 is going to be the 3 circled, then we'll get the 4 circled, and then the 5 circled, yeah? Or, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that is the leading diagonal. And then that is A, B, we're gonna get a C, a deep correction or something, and then we're gonna move lower down. So in this case, and usually wave 2 of a leading diagonal corrects a bit, like 75%, 78, 80%, this is expected. So we can literally go back to the 55 or, you know, above it. But I will be looking really, if you want at some decent levels, look for the 54,640 and then look for the 55, like 100 or something. Yeah, these are some decent levels to consider these seeing some sort of continuation. To the downside, we always have to confirm with volumes. Okay, if we find resistance here, we see a good rejection candle and increased volumes, it can be considered as they move to the downside. So in one case, that is our leg to the downside and the levels to look. In the other case, where we have the multiple structure to the downside, the 1, 2, 1, 2, we will have to place our fib over here, okay? And we'll do a similar approach. So we'll be looking at 44, 50, let's say, and then the 44.80, okay? Because we know even have a leading diagonal here or have a leading diagonal all over this place, okay? But I tend to think that the leading diagonal is in here because it has a lot of corrective waves here, and leading diagonals can only have zigzags, okay? So if I was 1 and 2, that means that my 3 is all this, which I lean towards the 1, 2 and 1, 2 approach, okay? So which means 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and we could already be doing 1 and 2 internally, 3, 4 and 5. Yeah, for 3, then 4 and 5, 4, 3, then 4 and 5. I know it can be confusing, but let me label it, okay? Let me label it. 1 and 2. Let's put that down here, and then we'll go 4. 1 and 2, and then we'll go 4. And let me just bring it down so that we have good understanding what it is, lower degree. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? And that's the subminute. There we go. That's the one, or that's one of the variations, okay? Because we cannot project what's going to happen here, right, guys? It's impossible. So I'm just giving you all the alternatives here, all the variations, so you know how to you're receiving the right information here. Now, in case we break above, as I said before, we either go for another leg up and then move lower, or we'll continue up, but we really need to see increasing volumes, guys. Okay, we really need to see increasing volumes. These volumes are not to be driving a wave like this up, unless if we don't receive volumes like we've done over here, and every here and there we get one of the exchanges to pump prices up 5K. Then you're gonna have your 60 and your 70, but it's not the actual cumulative volume that we would like to see here. Okay, if that makes sense. So I think it's time to go on Sol. Okay, because a lot of you have been waiting now, and I've already talked too much. So on Luna, I already talked too much about it. Some of you have hoped, oh yes, do Sol, but I'm sorry, the community voted. You remember last time we did the video, if I'm not mistaken, we were talking about a potential move to the some sort of last wave up. I don't even remember. We could go a fourth, second. Okay, maybe we were around here. So we're probably talking about continuing up and doing a fresh high, right? Now the first high happened. We missed the 50, and my guess, like that's from outside of Elliott waves, is that we're going to go up to catch that, yeah, to get there, some stop losses above the 50 as well, and then drop. But from an Elliott perspective, that also looks to be the case. Why? Because that looks like to me this is an ending diagonal. An ending diagonal is a corrective pattern. Okay. Usually the wave 2 dips a bit more, but anywhere between 61 and 80% of the correction is okay. Sometimes we don't go as low, but it means that there is a bigger slope. Okay, it's a guideline. We don't need to have the guidelines fixed. Okay, that's why it's a guideline, not a rule. So this corrective pattern, guys, it's appearing, and it happened at 64K for BTC when markets are going to turn. It's a terminal. It's a terminal pattern. Okay, which means one more leg up. Not necessarily actually something that needs to be crossing above the previous high, but we definitely need to, okay, we've done it already, but we definitely need to come to a good distance from the top, okay, because it can be truncated, but it cannot be truncated compared to 3, okay. So you get your 5th here, and that's gonna be okay, a correction coming in, okay. Corrections usually when you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. and this is the 3 and the 4 as we currently see that, then when markets correct, they correct in two different ways, okay? Because this is also, don't forget, Luna, it's starting cycle now, so we are in cycle wave 1 here, okay? Cycle wave 1, guys, which means what? Usually, if according to guidelines, wave 2 corrects 62%, okay? Obviously, that you can understand that's a huge drop, but that's a guideline. I repeat, I need to give you all the info. Can it do 38.2 only 38? Yes, it can. That means probably halfway where I mean, from 50, 38% down, probably get around the 30 or something, okay? But if it is a 60% correction, I'm gonna go around 20, okay, back to 20, which means what? In one case, if we do, right, the drop here, we're gonna go ABC or any other corrective pattern, okay? Usually wave 2, you know, can be slow and deep, or it can be sharp and deep, okay? So we've got 61 either in a sharp way or in a slow way. And we stop over here, and then we'll do the double correction bottom here, where 4 stops or stopped over here. It's more where my larger degree 2 stops, and then we continue up. Guys, I said cycle wave 1, okay? Do you have any idea where cycle wave 3 goes? 3? It goes at least 100% of cycle 1. If we did 50, that's gonna go at least to 100 according to the guidelines. I always have to repeat, okay? Usually now wave 3 extends to 1618 in the traditional markets. If we have a leading diagonal in wave 1, it extends to 618, and in cryptos it's usually happening even more than that. So if we go with 1618, we're looking around $130 for wave 3 only, right? With a small extension. And then you get the 4, and if you add the 5th one in, you're gonna go to 200 extension. So we're looking around, you know, 150, 160, or 150 or so, okay? And obviously we're talking now medium long term, but just to get a grasp, okay? We are in wave 1 here. We are ending wave 1. Now, if we do a 38.2 correction, we're gonna come much lower down, around 30, as I said before, okay? And then shoot higher now. Does this mean we're gonna dump soon? Well, it's a yes and it's a no. Why? Because I've just said, and I know most of you prefer it, but let's just not be biased. This is a more realistic and probability-wise a more realistic sort of scenario here. These sort of pattern, and it is a diagonal. Apart from an ending diagonal, which means it's a terminal wave, and we're going to move lower, it can also be a leading diagonal, which means we are only in the first wave of the 5th wave. That would be something like this. And that would mean we would have to go and do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And this is where we're going to end, this 5th wave. Okay, is it possible? Yes, it's possible. And that, if we assume we're gonna finish, yeah, around the previous high over here, yeah, and we measure the 61.8 Fibo extension, we need to actually measure, well, 61.8, I would say at least for wave 3, if that's gonna be my 1. So 78, and then we're looking at 104. Okay, and I would say at least for wave 3, 60 at 1.8. Now, what else can be the case here? Because we just looked at the diagonals. Okay, it could be a case where this is 1 and 2, and this is an internal structure. Okay, and in the internal structure, we're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, that means that we're going to get higher. Why? Because we're going to have an extended an extended 3 here. The extension will be in 3. Okay, but we would go higher in what case? Well, in the case, actually no. Just let me correct that. Yeah, I'm sorry for this. I was too quick to speed it out. With the leading diagonal, we are going higher. Okay, with the leading diagonal. So probably the 100 would be the target for wave 3 in wave 5. With this scenario, because leading diagonals usually lead, I mean, very, very often used to extending waves. But this over here, it means that going to get an extension in 3, but it's not going to be that extended. Okay, it's not going to be like 161 or whatever. And then we're going to get 4 and then 5. Okay. Then what we ought to ask ourselves though, okay, and do as analysts and as traders and as investors looking for right info, we need to look at the volumes. Then we'll go back to the volumes again. Okay. Do you see how the volumes increase here? That's why that is a wave 3. Yeah. Do you see how volumes increase here? That's why this finds a support is a wave 4. Now, do you see volumes really increasing here? It's just one spike at wave here at wave 3. And then we see another spike at this support confirmation. So you can understand that this is my 3, this is my 4, and this is my 5. Look at the volumes. Pam, pam, pam. They're doing the same thing. And you compare the 5 and the 3, and the volumes are much lower. So context. What do we see here? We see volumes decreasing. So that's why I'm going forward and towards to an ending diagonal over here. And that's why this is my main scenario. And the alternative, of course, would be that we might do 1, 2, 1, 2. If we get increasing volumes here, that would be a 3. Okay, perhaps a 4 and a 5 for 3, 4, and 5. That would be my alternative. Okay, and then again, don't forget, we could be also getting a leading diagonal here, but I would expect the leading diagonal to show me something different compared to an ending diagonal. Okay, so guys, drop your questions and don't forget, Telegram is my place. Okay, if you want more videos on a daily basis, trading ideas and other stuff, it comes with a subscription fee, of course, and it's not for the average. Well, for the average, yes, it's not for the newcomers as much as it is for people who are a bit more knowledgeable. Thanks for watching, and take care, guys. It's a very volatile period, but very also critical as well. We are hanging on BTC. That 57, I will tell you that, you know, up to 57, 58, that is a very critical point. Okay, it can be the flipping point, which means if we see increasing volumes, then the other scenarios will have increased probability of happening. Take care, and we'll speak again soon.